I saw something on the TV today, folks, which was quite uncomfortable viewing, if you ask me. It was on, is it the Storm Huntley show? That's one of the offshoots of the Jeremy Vine show that's on a daily basis on, I think it's Channel 5 in the morning. And Storm Huntley's got two co-panelists on there, a white girl and a black girl. And the question is, should Nigel Farage step back into politics? And I think it's also, and can he save the country or something like that? The white girl knows Nigel very well. She first got to know him in the late 90s. She found him a breath of fresh air, thought what he said was right, thinks his politics are great and that he sticks by his politics. The black girl not as keen. And the black girl starts with, Nigel Farage, there's a couple of reasons I don't like him, I don't like some of his policies, but there's also a couple of reasons. Oh, well, what are they? Storm says, well, one of them is, and you can check it out for yourself, he's racist. It's been documented. You can look on the internet. A couple of his ex-teachers, when he was at school, said at 15 or 16, Nigel was a racist. Now, she said she thinks it's in The Guardian. You can find it there. That might be the case. It might be there. It might not. But weirdly, only about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I read something about Nigel in another newspaper, and they actually spoke to one of his masters, I think, at school. One of the teachers there at school that he used to go, because I think he went to private school, if memory serves. And they speak to this fella who really liked Nigel. Said he was a bit odd in his own ways, in that he was very into politics, very, very young, and sort of kept his own counsel at times and whatever else, and had a smaller friendship group. But he said these accusations have been out there before about him being racist, and I never found him that at all. He said he had to think about immigration and controlling things and so on and so forth, even at that young age. He said, but I never found him to be racist at all. Which just goes to show you can find anything. There's always another side to any story. But anyway, the callers were asked to ring in to ask their views on whether they thought Nigel should come back into politics. And what I found was this black lady just kept butting in all the time, more so on those that were for Nigel coming back in. And one lady rang up from Bristol, I think it was, and what went on reminded me very, very much of the black girl in The Jungle. I don't know who she is. She's a YouTuber, I can't remember her name. When she tried to confront Nigel, was all mouthy with him and calling him a racist there and then, which I said at the time I thought he was very controlled with, kept very calm, spoke to her in an even manner, and I thought he answered the questions correctly and in a nice way, a well-mannered way. But he was trying to explain to her what I'm talking about, Lovey, is all the boatloads and boatloads coming in now, and also the ones that are actually allowed in that are coming in now. I think the country is bursting. And she was saying, oh, but without them you won't have the NHS. And he said, I appreciate all of what you're saying, but the country's getting that full. Our roads are getting full. We're struggling for doctor's appointments, struggling for hospital appointments, struggling for dentist appointments. I don't doubt many nationalities are working in the NHS. I don't doubt that at all. He said, but what I'm saying, he said, there's companies over here, massive companies, bringing foreign workers in because they can get them cheaper than British workers. British workers aren't getting the jobs. They're getting people in cheap. They're using all our services. And as I say, the country can't take it. He said it all in a well-balanced, well-mannered way. Anyway, going back to today, this woman rings up from Bristol. I think he should be back into politics. I think somebody needs to do something with the country at the moment. I don't trust anybody. I would trust him more, she said. And the woman kept interrupting the black lady, and then the woman from Bristol said, look, the thing is this, I think we should stop people coming in. I think we should look after our own. When I say that, there's 3,000 people in poverty in Bristol, and I think she might have said 3,000 on the streets, but I might have got that wrong. I probably got that wrong. But she said there's many, many, many people on the streets. There's many on the streets, and we need to look after them first before we bring more people in. Well, the black lady saw an opportunity. Oh, right, you need to look after your people first. What do you mean by that? She said the people that are on the streets that live in Bristol and have been here many years, and she said, and the people in poverty. Yeah, but what do you mean? Define your people. And she said, what do you mean? She said, the people that are here in Bristol. No, but define them. The black lady wants her to say white people. She's saying that this lady that's rung up, who's of an age, she's saying she's racist. That's what she's saying. Like she's saying Nigel's racist. And that's the card she played. She did exactly the same as the black girl in The Jungle there with Nigel. I've not got anything against any colour or anybody. Let me just say this. I've said it many times before. But this girl, because she's black, was trying to play a race card or a reverse race card for her own argument against Nigel coming back in, and to back up the fact that there's something that she's read years ago where some of his teachers have said he is a racist, and she's saying he is a racist. And she's saying this woman who's ranking is a racist for saying our people. The woman never mentioned colour at all. She was just saying people that are living in Bristol with no money and without homes over their heads. Now, many of them could have been of foreign types anyway, or black, or whatever else it may have been. The woman wasn't defining anything. She wasn't after colour, the lady ringing in. She's been asked to ring in to ask should Nigel come back into politics or should he not. And this black lady who's on the panel is just trying to corral her, get her in a corner and back her in, and it was awful. She did the same to caller number 2 in a roundabout way, and then the third caller that rung up said, can I ask that when you ask me these questions, Storm, the lady immediately to your right, please doesn't keep butting in. He was saying he'd seen the first 2 calls and that's all she was doing. She learnt a bit from that and stopped butting in. But it was awful, and I thought to myself, I don't know whether Nigel's racist or not. I don't think he is. I think he wants borders closed down, and he wants it so as we let in who we want to let in, and we don't let too many people in of any colour, of any race, of any nationality. I think he's saying we're struggling. And my argument was, if I'd have rang up, I actually tried to ring up. It's the first time I've ever done it and didn't get through. It was full by the time I rang. Just to say, look, I'd want him to come back in. Doesn't matter what party he is, whether it's Reform, they're not going to get in, or whether it's Conservative, they're not going to get in anyway. But if he comes in with Reform, it'll stop them anyway. Although I think they're going to be stopped. But I don't trust Sunak and I don't trust Starmer. And the thing is, if Nigel comes in and says these are the things that we're going to do, then Reform will either get more votes or the Conservatives will, or whoever it is. If he comes in and says these are the things I'm going to do, saying the Conservative Party, if the Conservatives like him for the things he's going to do, then he gets voted to the top job over Sunak or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, my argument is, it's not party-wise which party I'd go for or anything else. It's just that there's 2 major parties in GB at the moment, and I would trust Nigel Farage sticking to his guns once he said his policies. I've not said back all his policies, but if I liked all his policies, I would be more comfortable and confident of him getting them through or doing his best to get them through than I would of Sunak or Starmer, because they both fall in that many hurdles as far as I'm concerned. But that's by the by anyway. That part of it doesn't matter. It was just this lady on the panel there on the show, and I thought, it's awful what she's doing, you know. I mean, you've got a debate, you're asking people to ring up, do they want Nigel in or not? People are ringing the best of faith, and you've got a girl on the panel there that you brought in trying to call somebody that's wronging from Bristol racist when she clearly was not. All she was saying is there's people here with absolutely no money in Bristol and people on the streets, and I think we need to look to them before we let more boatloads or more plane loads or whatever it might be into the country. I didn't see anything wrong with that. Maybe that's just me.